Hello. The title of my article that I chose for this discussion was Archibald Alexander and the Use of Books, Theological Education and Print Culture in the Early Republic, written by Mr. David Powers. Before I continue, I want to mention that according to our guidelines, we as professional historians must be honest and objective in our research. As such, every single primary and secondary work that I have selected for this discussion not only furthers my arguments, but also comes from a reputable author and publication. So our author, Mr. Powers, points out that Alexander is kind of the perfect man for the right time because Alexander is all about writing books, writing manuscripts, and then printing them and sending them out around the country, which is exactly what the people want in the early 1800s. There's two things. There's kind of like this big transatlantic trade of books and ideas where you have European political and theological ideas colliding with American ideas, and they are swapped across the Atlantic in the transatlantic trade. There's also this kind of desire for theological knowledge, because, as Alexis de Tocqueville points out in Democracy in America, there are large sections of each bookstore in America dedicated to sermons and Bibles and tracts and all kinds of other religious texts where the people can read for themselves what other ministers and what other preachers have been saying, even books entirely devoted to the sermons of famous preachers, where maybe you lived in Georgia and now you could hear what ministers in Massachusetts or vice versa were saying. So our author wants to make very clear that Alexander is kind of like the perfect man at the right time. Alexander's love of books starts in his own personal education, where he loves reading just about anything he can get his hands on, but especially theological and religious texts. As he rises through the ranks of first minister and then the president of the Princeton Theological Society, his ideas on books and everything never really changed. He views every single book as valuable in its own way, but the Bible is at the very top. The Bible is God's word given to us by God Himself to man, versus other books which are written by men who are intelligent and smart, but not written by God, right? So he views every single book as valuable, but the Bible always remains as the most important. As he moves through the ranks and becomes the president of the university's theological department, he has individual classes devoted to how students should treat books. He values them so highly. He himself also writes several books and, more importantly, tracts. He really loves the tracts because they are more simplistic, they're smaller, and they're portable. They're very easy to print. And whenever he writes for the everyday man. He doesn't write for the university professor. He writes so that way everyone can understand him. If you were literate, you would be able to understand Alexander's writings, and that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted them to be accessible to all people. Most notably, he gave a book called Practical Sermons, which is a collection of sermons that he wanted to be read in the home by families. So again, as the author points out, Alexander has all these ideas regarding print, and it's the perfect moment because of the accessibility of the printing market in America. Very interesting article, very well done by a great author, chronicling a very interesting minister and key to our Christian heritage in the early republic. Thank you.